Okay, and switching gears just a little bit once again, I've been speaking to various groups in Labrador, Nunatsiavut, NCC, and indeed concerned individuals who are talking about a lot of specific environmental concerns with the project. And I think that's not really getting its fair play in our media. What are some of the NDP's positions on various environmental concerns, methyl mercury, or the downstream effects, or methane release, these sorts of things?
Well, I actually raised the issue of mercury in the House of Assembly when Jerome Kennedy was the minister. And basically, the minister mocked by raising the mercury issue. And I was raising the issue specifically from the studies that were done by the Environmental Assessment Panel, who raised the concern that even at this moment, from the upper Churchill, there are higher levels of mercury in the lake than should be there. And the minister literally mocked that position, said I was being an alarmist, and there was no basis for what I was saying, and I was quoting from the Environmental Assessment Panel. So I have always been concerned about that mercury issue. I know certainly the people in Rigolet are very concerned about that mercury issue, that they will be very directly affected by that. And if we are at this point seeing higher than acceptable levels of mercury in the lake from the upper Churchill, it's so far down the road from the first time that was done, that dam was done. Imagine what might happen because of the lower Churchill, I think, and what the panel wanted, which hasn't happened to date that I'm aware of. Now, maybe it has, but there's been no public announcement if it has, that studies be done right now to see what the levels are so that one can measure as time goes on. And they want the studies done immediately of the mercury levels in the lake to set a benchmark. And we're now, 5 years since that was recommended, and I don't think that's happened. So that's one thing in particular. Yes, it's true that there is some things that are going to be put in place to try to minimize the mercury levels, but we will have no idea without the benchmarks of knowing whether or not they actually have mitigated. So even though they're going to put mitigated measures in place, are they actually mitigating? If we don't know what the benchmark is, we won't know if they actually have mitigated or not. But that's been one particular issue that's been totally ignored by the government and by NAPCOR.